What you doing, bud?
Oh, I was thinking about doing a Ride-About. You know, we got this YouTube channel going about the culture of the high country.
Yeah.
And there's just so much deep culture here that goes way back to the 1700s and before that people don't know about. And we want to kind of try to share that with people.
Yeah, man. So a Ride-About is an interview with people.
Yeah, well, you know, you don't have to walk up. You don't have to walk in the Ride-About, so you just ride up to them and talk to them. That's basically all it is.
All right, cool. Hey, Alton.
Yeah, man.
What's wrong with you today?
Well, I guess I'm a little fluttered. I'm a little discombobulated, as you can tell.
Wait a minute. Did you say you're combobulated?
Discombobulated.
Oh,
this thing happened this morning. I can't get over it. So,
really? What happened?
Well, you know, we're playing Scrabble. We got into a Scrabble brawl.
I bet the letters were flying.
Letters were flying. People pushing each other and saying ugly things to each other. And like, hey, that's just crazy, man. And you know, playing with had some local people that had grown up in this county, and some people that were from Florida, and who knew where they grew up, you know, Florida. So you know, Scrabble, you can get double points on the first word.
Huh?
And so the local people here, one of them had the high number when you draw to see who goes first, and so they got to go first, and so they laid down the word Ewan.
Oh, as in Ewans?
Yeah, like in Ewans. And the Florida people didn't think that was a word. It turned into a mess. Hey, bud. All right. See the smoke you got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I do a lot of barbecuing myself, but I've never seen anything like this. Now, I lived down east for a long time. You know, they're big about pig pickings down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've never seen anything like that.
Nah, man, this is small compared to what we're used to using.
Did you have it built?
Yes, well, my partner did.
Okay.
And yes, sir. Here it is.
Yeah, let's look inside there. Look at that.
This is where the magic happens, bro.
I see that. So you could put two whole pigs right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting ready to do in June. We got a whole pig ordered.
Okay.
And then this is where we keep our sides hot, warm.
Yeah.
For service.
So Kenny, how'd you get started in this, man?
Well, it started at 14, you know, in the kitchens.
Okay.
And that's how I started.
Doing
working under chefs.
Just
working under regular.
Okay, just working in kitchen.
Yeah, and then I moved to the South.
Yeah.
And I started learning about Southern cooking. And I fell in love with it.
Okay. Where'd you come from, Kenny?
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So you moved down here, all right, to here in the mountains?
No, I started in Eastern.
Okay.
Eastern. That's where I learned barbecue.
All right, where at down there?
In Whiteville, North Carolina.
Whiteville, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So I learned about vinegar-based barbecue.
Right.
Okay. And personally, I didn't like it.
Oh.
Well, I was a Yankee. I mean, come on.
So what do you have? What's up north? What kind of barbecue?
Well, we'd be considered Lexington in the mountains here. It would be a red sauce.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But the vinegar grew on me.
Vinegar, yes.
You know, very popular. So then I started, you know, going to family reunions and married a Southern girl.
Okay.
And so I started going to, you know, family reunions, and I started eating this vinegar base.
Right.
And it started growing on me.
Right.
So I started coming up with my own recipe.
So how did you get to the mountains here?
So I owned my own restaurant in Whiteville for years, you know, for about 5 years.
Okay.
And whenever I needed a break, I'd get on my motorcycle and I would get a room at the Pinola Inn. Right down the street here. And that was, 25 years ago.
Right.
Never did I imagine that I was going to own a house, you know, right down the road from there, you know, 25 years later.
Okay. So here's one of my stories. Pig pickings were all over in eastern North Carolina. Every weekend somebody had a pig picking. So we were going to church, in Episcopal church, and they said the church had a pig picking once a year. So they said, come on out to this guy's farm, and he had one of these things, not quite that elaborate, But you know, the big pig was up there, and we were standing around, and here come the priest in his collar drinking a beer. Now I grew up in the fundamentalist church, so that was in shock.
All right.
Okay, but since I've been up here, I've never been invited to a question that you get asked why they call them a butt.
I do.
Do you know that story?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So pigs were famous up in New England, and they had they cured them by putting them in these big round things, salt vats, and those things were called butts.
Okay.
That's how I got the name.
How I got the name.
Boston butt.
Because when I moved to North Carolina, it's just called shoulder.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but you're using the leg and the so-called butt.
Yeah, because you know, like you meet somebody you really like, and you say, "Hey, I really like you, man. Why don't you come over to the house and have a butt?"
That could go a lot of different ways. Couldn't it?
Yeah.
Could go a lot of different ways.
I know. Yeah. So let's look at this thing a little closer, because I was noticing that a lot of people maybe don't understand how this goes down. But you put the wood in here.
Yes, you fire it up.
And you use mostly oak, I assume.
Hickory.
Hickory.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay. And then that turns to coals, and the smoke comes up through here.
Yep.
Comes out here, and you get the smoke effect.
Right.
What I noticed was unusual about this one that I had never seen is there's a door like this on the other side.
Right.
So
we're feeding it from both sides.
Right. So I see there's two stacks.
Yeah, we got two smokers coming out here and there.
Does that go all the way through?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep.
Does. Okay. So that's a little bit of a technical thing there that you have to kind of stay on top of.
See, now the thing is with barbecue, and it has a tendency to be too smoky.
Yes.
You know,
that's a bitter taste.
Yes, and that's where I come into play, where I am very the first 2 hours is where I come in, and it's got to be a smoke.
Right.
But after 2 to 3 hours of smoking, you want that 225 heat.
You're right.
You know, and you want it slow and low.
Yeah, slow and low.
You know, but if you constantly keep feeding that wood, you know, you can't keep your temperature right, you know, you're going to get an over-smoked meat.
Yes.
And to me, that is just, it kills it.
So if anybody has any questions about barbecue and they want them to come see you, how they can email you, right?
Yes, sir.
How do they do that?
You just hit me up at KennethLindahl65@gmail.com.
Lindahl, how you spell that?
Lindahl.
Ooh, yeah. Do you have a phone number too, or is that dangerous?
828-260-1829.
And so you do catering, brother?
I do.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alton.
All right,
Go for it.
And you used to have a catering business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the situation with the
flood.
So
now we're rebuilding.
We saw your kitchen.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous. Okay, very jealous. And so you'll be up and running sometime in the future.
Hopefully at the end of summer we'll have the house finished and ready to go.
Okay.
But up until then, I've got a partner, and you know we love to smoke, and so we're open for a game.
I'm going to make a suggestion that at the grand opening of the new catering business, we can come.
Right on. Well,
and bring a newspaper later with it.
Honestly, we're shooting for September 27th.
Okay.
For the whole neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, finally everybody's starting to come back. You know, all these houses were condemned.
Right.
You know, so.
So Kenny, you're down here in lowland near the river. The flood took you out?
It didn't take me out. Many of my friends' houses got taken down the river. Okay. Thank God my foundation was good enough. We got 14 feet from the river. And it just came right through our house. And it was in 3 hours and out in 3 hours.
That's hard to recover from.
Yes, sir. We're working on it.
God bless you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Keep around the barbecue side if you want. I mean, because there's more to barbecue than just barbecue. As far as how I'm concerned with barbecue, I mean, your smoking is detrimental. Your meat's got to be great. But it's your size.
Well, let's start there. You're going to get a Boston butt.
Right.
And what are you looking for?
You're just looking, I mean, depending on how many people you're feeding, first of all.
Right.
You know, and and I judge, you know, when I do a job or a catering or a function, you know, if it's good, they're going to eat a half a pound.
Okay, so it's not just the meat that makes the meal. You got sides.
Yes, sir.
Now you said you were down east. I told you I lived down east, and down there it was boiled potatoes you know, and corn sticks or hush puppies.
Right.
And sometimes, oddly enough, fried chicken.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Fried chicken
So
goes
what
with
do you do?
But see, I've taken a twist at Southern cooking, and I fell in love with Southern cooking when I was a little kid.
Okay.
You know, traveling around the United States.
Right.
And so when I finally made it back to North Carolina and I got to call North Carolina home, I started learning Southern cooking.
Okay.
And then I took it, and I was like, well, it's got to be more fun than this. And I took a twist to it.
All right, what's the twist?
So your twist, like some of your twists is like when you making slaw.
Yeah.
You know, your cabbage has to be shaved.
Right.
I mean, it has to be sweet. You know, sweet slaw, especially with your vinegar base.
Okay.
You know, and you can tell that from our conversation that I'm a vinegar guy.
So you don't put vinegar in your slaw?
No, I don't, because I have enough. Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then one of my favorites is fried macaroni and cheese.
Ooh,
fried macaroni.
Yes, sir. And I'll make a really gooey macaroni and cheese and throw it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then I can pull it out, and then I dip it in my beer batter, and I drop it in the fryer.
Oh.
So that way, when you bite into it, you got a crispy, nice, creamy pasta.
Okay.
That goes
deep
well.
fried.
It's deep fried, yeah.
Okay,
but
okay, all right.
You know, but you got to have smoked baked beans too. You know.
You go with hush puppies or?
Yes. And when I go with slaw and hush puppies, I was taught on the East Coast that they got to be sweet and they got to be fluffy.
Right.
You know, and your slaw's got to be sweet.
Right.
And it takes away that bitter from the vinegar.
Right.
You know. And
string beans.
Green beans, stable, speckled butter beans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And boiled potatoes, do you do that?
Yeah, I mean you can, but you throw as many starches as you want at
it. Well, if you invited me over here to eat, just tell me what would be on the plate.
Yeah, it would be fried macaroni and cheese, pulled pork, definitely baby back ribs.
Okay.
You know, and I'll be working on them baby back ribs all afternoon, and I'll start early in the morning.
Okay. Thank you, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Well, thanks for coming over, man. And
you're gonna get this
thing
started,
love.
and you're gonna have a big pig picking out here for everybody.
Yes, sir. As soon as we get back on our feet.
You're gonna invite us.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
So, Alton, what did you think about that? Kenny, the barbecue guy.
Well, that was fantastic. For me, it was a trip down memory lane, being that he was in Eastern North Carolina, which I lived for 20 years. And if you never lived down there, you just do not understand how popular barbecues and pig pickings and those kind of things are. I mean, every single town down east has a restaurant, and they all swear it's the best barbecue in the East. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.